Okay, hold on one second. It sounded like somebody was knocking. It's just my haunted fucking studio, so I swore I heard somebody knocking, but as soon as I took my cans off, I can hear that the husband and the kids are leaving right now. I can hear the car. I'm like,
they're getting the fuck away from the ghost is what they're doing.
Probably. They're just like, mom's over there doing a seance again. Anyways, okay, so we are going to review House on Haunted Hill, the 1999 version. Thanks to the Reverend's clear and concise notes. This was directed by Rob White. I have no information on Rob White. Anything specific about him? Any other films?
He was, I believe that he did. It was what was I don't know why I'm blanking on this. It was The Crypt Keeper, Tales from the Crypt. He did Tales from the Crypt HBO episodes like prior to this, because some of the it's in the trivia, but some of the characters and some of the themes in this were actually unused scripts that he used that he wanted to use during his Tales from the Crypt days.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm looking right now to see if there's anything else. Nothing. I mean, in my opinion, nothing worth mentioning. But then again, I don't count. I mean, okay, so it has. I take that back. Macabre was one of them that you had mentioned already. That was 1 year before the 1959 version, so 1958. 1960s version of 13 Ghosts, which we are going to be reviewing that because we're doing that with the. Are we doing the original and the newer 13 Ghosts?
Yes, unfortunately, I had to watch the original 13 Ghost. It's worse than this. This movie actually seems like Casablanca versus 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, and I will be rewatching that one. I'm not going to just go off of memory like I did for this one. 13 Ghosts was also another one I had seen. Excuse me, the original 13 Ghosts was one I had seen multiple times.
God help you when you watch that.
Okay, so directed by Rob White, principal players, Jeffrey Rush, who plays Stephen H. Price, which was basically a Vincent Price lookalike.
Yeah, and the trivia behind that, it's in the notes later on, but I'm just gonna bring it up because I remembered. I thought it was interesting. Is he was originally supposed to look like he was the one that came up with the look, and he wanted to look like John Waters of all people, like the famous John Waters did Hairspray, and
yeah.
I can't remember, Crybaby, I believe is the name of the one that's got Johnny Depp in
it.
But like, he was trying to look like him, and when he walked on set, everybody was like, "You look like Vincent Price." So that they actually made the character's name, change because he came in trying to look like John Waters, but ended up looking like a Vincent Price knockoff.
Well, yeah, because I'm looking at John Waters right now, and John Waters didn't have that pencil thin mustache, and he had the black hair. He looked like Vincent Price. Okay, Stephen H. Price, aka Vincent Price Jr. Okay, He plays the thrill park module and billionaire protagonist / antagonist, depending on how you look at him. He's been in Pirates of the Caribbean. He was Barbossa, which I recall very. I love that character.
Yeah, he's the best things in that. Speaking of Johnny Depp again, so throwing him,
Oh my God, The King's Speech, Mystery Men as Casanova Frankenstein. I don't recall that, so I'm gonna have
It's a pretty good villain in the movie or whatever that he. I can't remember. I think it's Greg Kinnear plays like kind of like the Superman in that movie, and Casanova Frankenstein is like his villain, and he accidentally like pushes Casanova to the point that Casanova, I want to say, kills him, and then and then it's up to like the Mystery Men, which is basically like a bunch of no ability superheroes, led by Ben Stiller to kind of come in and save the day at that point.
And I don't know why I have not watched this film, because I have always wanted to watch this film. So shame on me.
It's really good.
I do not know how to pronounce her name. Famke Janssen?
I always say Famke, but whatever.
Probably.
Yeah.
Famke, Danke. Johnson,
but super hot. Lady.
Gorgeous. No matter what age she's at, this woman.
Oh my God.
She plays Annabelle Price, the cheating wife and protagonist / antagonist and gold digger. And I'm just here to say that Vincent Price Jr. was not bad looking in this movie. Like, he's got a ton of money, and they are both into spooky, creepy, and mystery shit.
Yeah.
You guys are perfect for each other. Stay together. You belong to each other. The world is a better place when you two are together and not trying to kill each other. But hey, that's what was going on in this film.
Which is one of the, throwbacks to the original movie that they kept, which is the best part of the original movie.
Yes.
Actually. So.
Yes. They took it like a little bit further too, which, I mean, you have to.
Because in the first one, they, like it was hinted that she was sleeping around and stuff, but no, she outright admits it in this. She's cucking, Vincent Price Jr. from, from way back. Like, that's what she gets pleasure in it too. She even, stresses that.
And I think he low key likes it. So,
I think so too. It's funny too, because she throws in that line, which is not in the original, about how he swings both ways. And I wonder if that's like a throwback to the fact that Vincent Price did, in real life. So it's kind of interesting.
Quite possibly. So she has been in the X-Men films. I mean, if you don't know her as Jean Grey, where the fuck have you been? GoldenEye as Xena. Oh, you're going to have to take it.
On a top.
I mean,
oh
my God.
She's on the top. I mean,
playing next to the character also known as a lot of vagina.
I believe that's where there's another Pussy Galore was
Pussy
what they
Galore.
based that off of. But yes. I mean,
Oh, and that was an octopussy. What the? Oh my God, a lot of vagina. Excuse me. I sounded like I said vagina. No, folks, keep your mind out of the gutter. It was a lot of vagina. Okay. Let me see. The Taken series, Primal with Nick Cage.
Yep. I gotta. If I see a Nick Cage reference, I gotta throw it in.
Gotta throw that in there.
He's prolific.
Hide and Seek, Lord of Illusion, Deep Rising, and The Faculty, which I remember The Faculty. I actually liked that film.
I really like it too, and I need to go back and rewatch it so bad.
But wasn't she also in Hansel and Gretel?
I believe she wasn't she? Was she the evil witch in that one?
I thought she was Gretel.
No, I don't believe she was in that movie. I believe that was a younger actress.
Oh, it was. I am mistaking her for another hot actress. Oh my God. My apologies to Gemma, whatever her name is. Oh, but yes, Famke is in that movie. She does play Famke.
I believe she plays the witch, like the bad, like the big one, the one that's like, that's been chasing for years.
Yes. Hold on. I want to see. Yeah, she definitely did. Ooh. Oh my God. Even as a scary witch, she is hot.
I don't know. Like she's just, I mean, her face and just the way she carries herself. I mean, it's the whole package.
Yes. Even with black teeth, she's got this weird spiderweb thing going on, but her eyes are this crazy green. Oh my God. Total babe. Anyways, okay, moving on to LLareyna, who plays Nora Manning, which we talked about the different characters or how they got that name from the older film.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
An innocent damned by her own lie. She was in Varsity Blues.
Yeah, the what is it? Whipped cream?
Yes, I knew. I wasn't 100% sure it was her. I was 95% sure it was her.
I'm pretty sure she was one that was the whipped cream in that movie. So
yes, but then we got to see Chris. Oh God,
Hans.
Captain America.
No. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans get to redo that scene his own way.
Oh God!
In not another teen movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Varsity Blues drive me crazy. I did not like that movie, but whatever. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. I don't remember her in that film.
She was one of the four Chrissies, and they were all dressed in like tight, skin tight, black cat suits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, all of them smoking hot in that movie. Yeah, so just saying.
I'm like, you sound like you're having a hard time breathing there, Reverend. You okay? Oh my God, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That also has the notorious scene, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of Jay doing the Silence of the Lambs scene. Was it that one?
Where he's tucking? I believe that might be in that movie, yes.
LLareyna may or may not have redid that in a Jabba the Hutt outfit and a bathing suit that looks like a man's chest. So
it also has a thing that will stand out in my mind in infamy. It's like where there's an organization in the movie that like the acronym is CLIT, and then Jay has that video that pops out that's like, we are the masters of the clit. We run that shit.
Oh my God. Yes, that was a good movie. Legally Blonde. I do not recall LLareyna in Legally Blonde.
I think she was like one of the maybe like Elle's like sorority sisters that was like, you know, kind of the bitchy ones that like, I think. I mean, that's if not, she was the one that she was defending. One of the two. I'm kind of iffy on that movie myself, but she was either one of the sorority sisters that kicked Elle out at the beginning of it, or she was the one that Elle was defending later on in the movie. But it's one of the two.
All right. She was Claire Redfield in some of the Resident Evil films, which a lot of us are familiar with those, and Final Destination, which, I mean, funny that that is popped in here because I was thinking today, LLareyna was conjuring ideas while taking an inferno shower about how we need to have some kind of death season, but I completely drew a blank on what. Oh, Death Becomes Her would be the funny, like, death film.
Okay.
It would be like the April Fools.
So you're like a season dedicated somehow to like Grim Reaper type stuff, or
Grim Reaper and death in general, because I would like to stick to Grim Reaper kind of, but the Grim Reaper's not really in, you know, Final Destination. But I mean, oh my God, come on, that film is surrounded by death.
Unofficially he is, because he's the one that's invisible that does all the
That's
stuff.
True. That's true. But I don't know that there's enough Grim Reaper type films that we could cover in a death season, and Death Becomes Her is definitely not a Grim Reaper. That's more of a that's almost like borderline zombie
in a weird way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like undead, so it's we could technically do that in the zombie season, you know.
There's I was thinking about the zombie season today, not to get off topic too bad, but there is so many movies.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's overloaded to begin with, but even just including the ones I love, because sitting there thinking about, like, you know, just like the funny zombie movies. And I'm like, okay, what would be the April Fools? And it's like, you got Shaun of the Dead, which you have to cover. You've got, I mean, there's several B movies that I could kind of like lump in there too, like Life After Beth, and, you know, some other ones. But like, I mean, you know, there's Warm Bodies. That's kind of a comedy,
oh my God. You know, well, that's more of a love story though.
Well, so Shaun of the Dead, if you get right down to it, it's a rom-com with zombies. I mean,
that's true. But that one's funnier. I guess we could do like a double feature of those. I don't know. Okay, we're getting off topic on that. But we need a deathish season, and it could just be like, oh, fuck, it's Tuesday, where death just keeps happening. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a Grim Reaper, you know?
Well, that's true. I mean, you have there's actually a couple. I mean, well, there you go. I don't. Well, Happy Death Day is either a slasher movie or it could fit in the death season, because that's literally what it's about: is you die and then you come back to life.
No, absolutely, that would fit into death season. Death season doesn't have to be Grim Reaper, but we can have Grim Reaper films in there for however many exist. Okay, thank you, LLareyna, for inspiring us to have another season of Death Holler that we are light years away from. So
we've got all kinds of things like witches, slashers. I mean, we got everything under the sun to cover before that. But yeah, that's a good one to keep back there.
Definitely. Okay, moving on. Taye Diggs, who plays Lance Schroeder. He was adopted from I cannot word today. Former sports star and one of the few black men to survive a horror movie. And I was thinking that the entire film.
Well, he really is. There's him, and then there's, I mean, he's not all the way through the movie, but you take the character from the original Night of the Living Dead, he survives almost, I mean, he out-survives everybody else, even though, you know, spoiler alert for a movie that's older and, you know, you should have watched it by now, not even copyrighted. They shoot him at the end, but he's the only other one that really stands out as being, you know, surviving all the way through the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so Taye Diggs, you can find him in movies such as Rent. I did not watch it, but when I think of Rent, all I can think of is everybody's got AIDS from Team America World Police.
Yep.
Malibu's Most Wanted. I don't remember him in that film, but I do remember that film, so that's kind of funny. Shame on me.
I don't remember much about it either, other than the fact Amy Kennedy was, you know, in it, and that was it. So
he's the main thing I remember from how Stella got her groove back, because Taye Diggs had his groove in that film, And that was one solid body. I will give you that, sir. Coming from a woman that does not even really care about muscular bodies like that. He was flaunting it, and he had it. So, Chicago. Oh, my God, I love Chicago so much, and I hate musicals. Absolutely hate musicals. In fact, side topic again, because we're just going to, you're letting me hold this show, and that's all I'm going to do.
Side topics are fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What
ADHD is kicking in. Wicked is out in my neck of the woods right now, the Broadway production, and I 100% refuse to see it because I do not want to see a musical. Fuck it. I will miss amazing show because it's a musical.
That's actually that I've always wanted to kind of see, just because the production and the story behind it, because it's, based on those books or whatever.
Yes.
Wicked and then Son of a Witch and, all those. And they're actually really well done and tie in really well to the original, Oz mythology. And I've just always been, interested in, the Wicked play, but I'm not going to drive like 4 hours to see it. So
Nope. It's literally like a 20-minute drive from me. And we had a week without the kids. I'm like, hubby, you want to go see Wicked? He's like, yeah, it sounds like you want to go see it. And then somebody was like, oh, this was the best musical I had seen. I was like, snooze fest. Not going to do it. Sorry.
The funny thing about it is, at least in the original of it, I believe that the actress who played Witch was the same one who was the voice of Elsa in Frozen. So,
oh yeah, I mean, granted, she's not out here. I'm sure this is just it's not the actual.
Yeah, just like local players or something.
Exactly. So yeah, I have seen Phantom of the Opera, and I would definitely watch that again. That's amazing. And Chicago. I think those are the only two. I don't even like the songs being sung in Nightmare Before Christmas. I get so irritated. So,
oh God,
I know I have a problem. Anyway, Chicago was amazing, and Taye Diggs played the piano player, so not a huge role, but definitely a memorable one, which is hard because LLareyna misses a lot of details. I want to say he's got maybe a handful of times that he's on camera, so literally 5 or 6 times that you see him. He's also been in Grey's Anatomy. That's huge. I apparently did not see the seasons he was in. I think I've only seen the first, second, and third season. So
you were all about McDreamy. That's what your big thing was.
Yes, so. McDreamy and then McSteamy. I did see McSteamy as well. So, yeah. Anyways, this was back in the day when the Hubs and back in the day when you moved into a place and it took months for you to get your cable set up, because that used to be a thing, and now they're like there within a few days. So we bought DVDs. We bought seasons of shows to keep us occupied, and Grey's Anatomy was one of those. Return to House on Haunted Hill. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either, but they came out with a sequel, and Taye Diggs was one of the, few, returning parts of that from the original movie. So
spoiler alert, everybody, he survives. Even though we already did say that. Okay, this is from 2007. I'm taking a side topic. I'm going to read the basic Google synopsis, and then we will move on. Fashion editor Ariel refuses to believe her sister's scary stories about the abandoned insane asylum on Haunted Hill. But when her sister is found dead of an apparent suicide, Ariel and her boyfriend, Paul, find a journal in her apartment that has information about a cursed statue worth millions, hidden on the asylum's grounds. The discovery leads to deranged anthropology student Desmond, to kidnap the couple, forcing them to find the statue. What? No, just kidding. Oh, wait, yeah, Taye Diggs is in that one. I was like, they don't even mention him. Sounds stupid. Yep. Okay, let's move on. Peter Gallagher. Not editing any of my mistakes. Folks, I am sick, and I just have a cold.
And not just in the head.
Yes, not just in the head. And I just have a cold, so nothing big, and I feel like I sound normal. But for whatever reason, me trying to sound normal, I'm having a hard time speaking actual words. For all the other episodes you've listened to that I have made the same mistakes and I wasn't sick, mind your damn business, okay?
Just mind your business.
Mind your business. I am blaming it on the cold today. Peter Gallagher, who played Dr. David Trent, he's a co-conspirator and a horrible psychiatrist, which, I mean, doesn't have any psychiatrist skills in this film. I wouldn't have even known. He just mentions multiple times that he's a doctor. Oh, David Trent, doctor, shut the fuck up.
Doctor.
Yes. He has been in High Spirits, which I have not seen, and apparently I am going to have to watch. I know the Reverend's going to make me do it. And The OC, which snooze fest.
I only remember watching like one season of that, and then that was the movie, the Orange County, I believe, I don't know. I don't know if he was in the TV show or not. Like I didn't like either one of them really. The original movie that had like Jack Black in it, I wasn't really a huge fan of. So
yeah.
But High Spirits is probably not one I'm going to make you watch. It's probably going to be Haunted Honeymoon. I just recently got that in on DVD, or I guess it's Blu-ray, and I'm going to watch that. So.
Oh my God. Okay. Brigitte, is it Brigitte or Bridget? Probably Bridget.
Brigitte, I believe is how she says it.
Okay, Brigitte. That's how most of them say it when they want to sound fancy. It's probably Bridget. And they just don't want to sound basic. So we'll go with Brigitte Wilson, who plays Ruth Bridgers, a fame whore, first to die. The useless actress in this film, much like the one from the 1959 film. It's like they have to have at least one.
Yeah. The version of the old lady, but a lot easier on the eyes is all I'm going to say about that. So
way easier on the eyes, especially in Billy Madison. She was a babe in that.
Yes,
I want to say she played Sonya Cage in Mortal Kombat.
She did,
which she didn't have the snatch grab, which is what I named it at the ripe young age of, oh God, I don't know how old I was when Mortal Kombat came out, but when Sonya Cage would go do the scissor grab and throw you down, I called it the snatch grab or the snatch catch. And I want to say I was like 10 or 11 years old. So
was she pulling a Trump even back in those days?
The pussy grabbed you. You just got to grab him with the pussy and throw him around. Guys love that. 100%. I don't think I know anybody that would argue. So, and if you are, you're probably gay. Just saying it, okay?
That's probably true, yes.
Totally. And hey, no shame. Okay, you don't want a crotch grabbing you? Well, you can get dick whipped. I don't know. The wedding planner, I want to say played the wife. Because I watch horrible movies. And because I like The Wedding Planner, it was probably not a good film. But she played the wife to be.
That's one of the few. I'm going to give you credit on that. That's one of the few. I don't know why Adam. Why am I blanking on his name? The main actor in that movie.
Oh God, he was Doctor. It wasn't. Wait, no. He's not Doctor.
Adam Sandler. That's like one of the few movies that Adam Sandler did that was like really good.
No, you're thinking The Wedding Singer.
Oh, never mind. You're right.
Yes, no, The Wedding.
Off on that.
Yeah, The Wedding Planner had "All Right" in it.
Oh God, then yeah, you watched a shit movie in that case. That
yeah,
was during the time period whenever Matthew McConaughey couldn't do anything but those movies, and he even gave up. I'm going to go off on a tangent. I listened to him on a podcast recently where he talked about whenever he was in this phase of his life where he was doing all these rom-coms, and he said that's all he was getting. Now he could have retired on the money they were giving him for these movies, but he said that he made it a point where he was just like, no, I want to move on with my, my acting career. I want to do something that challenges me. So he said he refused to do them for at least, 2 years. And he said they were begging him like left and right. And he came back and like, they just kept offering him, like, he was like, they sent him a script and this one, right, that he ultimately refused, but it was the only one that came close. And he was like, well, I might do it, but here's my number. And he gave them something so stupid, he didn't figure they'd come back and say it, or that they would. And they came back and said, well, how about this? And it was very close. And he worked them up. And I want to say that he got them up to almost like $50 million or something like that for them to come back and do one of these stupid things. And he still turned it down because he said that he was tired of doing these things.
Oh, my God. Well, if it's any consolation, Jennifer Lopez is in the film. I don't necessarily like her as an actress, but I do like some of the films she's been in. So,
oh God,
and they're horrible films. They really are. Look it. Listen, Linda. Fucking Fools Rush In had Salma Hayek in it, okay, and Matthew Perry. It was not a great film. I love that movie. It's like my most favorite movie ever. So, The Wedding Planner would probably fit in right within that kind of like love film.
Okay.
So look at they I don't know, women like that shit. I don't know. But anyways, Bridget Wilson, back to her. She is a babe no matter what she's in. She just has a look to her.
She's got resting bitch face, but in a good way.
In a good way.
It looks hot on her
it's
in these movies.
A sexy bitch face. There we go. Not
Yeah.
resting, sexting bitch face. She was also in Last Action Hero, which I was told I need to watch. Don't even jump my case for that. Don't.
It's one of my favorite.
I know.
I know that it's probably not a popular opinion. It's one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies, period. Like, it's so campy and out there, but like in a good way that, like, they were doing, like, somebody brought this up on a YouTube video that I was listening to recently. They were doing in Last Action Hero, the meta stuff that before Scream did it. Like, they were ahead of the curve with that movie. So, and it has Tom Noonan in it, which is really cool because, he was, previously on our, House of the Devil episode.
Yeah. I'm looking at Sweet Evil right now because that was the next film. And I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. But apparently either this is the same actress, which is Bridget Wilson, or these actresses all look like the same person. Oh yes, Bridget Wilson, surrogate mother. It's just okay. The reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because it looks like some kind of porn parody. Okay, and then the other film that pops up is called The Stepsister. So you see where I'm going with this, and it is definitely. It looks like Bridget Wilson.
Is there a dryer involved that, is hard to get in and out of? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm going to go that there was a dryer that she can't get out of. She gets stuck in it. It could be a haunted dryer for all we know. Help, step bro. I'm stuck. Yes, she was the actress in Stepsister. So she's been in a lot of porn parodies. Unofficial porn parodies, according to LLareyna.
There was a time period there where she was just cast repeatedly, and like if they needed a hot girl in a movie, they cast Brigitte Wilson. I mean, it was after Billy Madison. They realized what they had on their hands with her, and and that's what they cast her as. Which is funny because this movie, I mean, just going back, is loaded with hot women of the time period. I mean, Famke Johnson, or Jansen. We have Ali Larder. I mean, and Brigitte Wilson. They were all known at the time for being like some, like if you needed a hot woman in a movie, these were the three women.
Yeah,
that you went with.
And funny because Ali Larder was one of the lesser hot. But she was unconventionally hot in this film. Like she got hotter after she had been tormented a little bit. She showed up clean and pressed and ready for whatever the night was going to bring her. And then after she had seen some shit, she got hotter. And not in a super sexy way either. More in a, wow, I didn't know you were that hot. I thought you were hot before, but dang, you look like a ripped up food stamp and I want to jump your bones.
Yeah, even Taye Diggs kind of does that in the movie, right?
Yeah.
If I remember right, he's kind of like, he's kind of into it first and then and then this movie goes along, he's like, damn girl.
Yeah. What you hiding in there? We're going to move on. Chris Kattan. What the fuck was he doing in this film? I mean, like, he played that annoying character.
He plays the exact same character that was in the original movie, which is pointless and just there, but, whatever.
He had a lot of lines that were redundant in the film, saying the same things over. Like, he forgot his script, but his script didn't even have a lot of lines to begin with, and,
And when you introduce a Doom Prophet, the mistake that this and the original both made was that the Doom Prophet is only supposed to be there. It was refined in the slasher movies, but it was only supposed to be there to tell the main characters, you better watch out. There's fucking weird shit in that place. And then, and then let them go loose and do the thing. These movies both had the mistake of having the Doom Prophet there the entire fucking time. And the only Doom Prophet can do is, we're gonna die, everybody, we're gonna die, this place is fucking haunted, I told you we're gonna die. I mean, that's literally all they do in both movies.
Yeah, and the problem with the Doom Prophet is you can't just have them die right off the bat, because then it's like, oh well, he's faking it. Because at this point, they're kind of expecting it because they start to realize who's involved with this, which we'll discuss a little bit, and they're like, so if he just dies, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, he's just fucking playing a part, But then they didn't have him die soon enough. I almost wish he had escaped. I actually forgot a lot of this film before I rewatched it. I was like, holy shit, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. we'll go into that more. Chris Kattan can be found in such comic relief films. He is a comic relief in this film. A drunk, kind of a very, functional drunk, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I guess you put him as a slightly less annoying Doom Prophet. I beg the difference. Yeah, I guess.
Well, versus the original guy, he's for sure annoying than that dude was. I'm just saying.
I think what made him most annoying to me is how poor of an actor he was in this film. And he's not a bad actor, in my opinion. I've never really hated him.
I'm going to disagree with you. Chris Kattan was never a good actor. He was good for making stupid faces and acting like a monkey on SNL. But
comic films and stuff, I appreciated him in. He had energy, okay?
Well, he does have energy. I'll give him that.
Yes. So I'm not going to say he's like an actor of that time by any means, but he was not made for this film. This was supposed to be a more serious situation. And it did not, whatever. You could find him in A Night at the Roxbury, which is pretty funny. Funnier on SNL. The film wasn't too terrible, but that's if you like junky, clunky comedy films. And I love junky, clunky comedy films. That's my jam. SNL, as we mentioned. I cannot pronounce this. I cannot word right now. Banicula?
Banicula.
What is that about?
I think it's about a rabbit who's also a vampire. That's literally what it's about.
Jeez. Oh, my God. Bunny, Dracula. Fucking shit. And then Hotel Transylvania, who does he play in Hotel Transylvania? I'll look it up, but do you know?
What about it?
Who does he play in Hotel Transylvania?
Oh, Lord. I don't even know. Okay. I think it's like one of the weird side characters. Like, that's not one of the ones that they, not like any of Adam Sandler's friends who are in all those movies or whatever with him. Not Chris Rock or any of them, but it's funny we've mentioned Will Smith and Chris Rock in the same episode, so somebody's gonna get slapped. But
oh my, shut up! I'll tell you, one of us is gonna get slapped, but it's not gonna be me. Whatever. It's not coming up immediately, and I'm not going to spend my life looking to see who he was. But Hotel Transylvania, that will be reviewed during Dracula season or vampire season.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those. I mean, for sure, because it's actually pretty decent.
It is.
Adam Sandler film recently,
and they have the cast is amazing. It's very impressive, and they did like they did like 3 or 4 different films, and
they're up to 4 now.
I believe, and they're doing pretty well, and there's something to be said about that. So,
the funny thing about that is that I noticed this whenever I was a kid, since the original Universal horror, pictures came out and the monsters came out with all that stuff throughout different decades. Those monsters have, whenever they're thrown together, especially in animated form, seem to do really well. They used to have, like in the late 70s, like a knockoff called the Groovy Ghoulies, and it was basically the same thing. They were all like part of a haunted, like they had a TV show where it's like kind of like laugh-in, where they would tell jokes but also play music or whatever. And like now they're just doing that again with Hotel Transylvania. It's just like every so many decades they recycle the monsters all together, and they and make them for like kids at that point.
Excuse me. Okay. That's where we end with Chris Kattan. But anyways, moving forward, Jeffrey Combs.
Thankfully.
Jeffrey Combs, who plays Dr. Richard Benjamin Vannicut, which, oh my God, did they really emphasized the Vannicut in the beginning when they kind of showed this black and white film of him to kind of give you the history of what was going on in this film. He's a Mangala-inspired doctor. I don't know what that means.
He's just, I would put that in there because he's basically, his doctor was inspired by like Joseph Mengele, the Nazi doctor who did all the experiments on the Jewish people. And, there's a lot of those now, but like they all kind of get their inspiration from that.
Yes, which I'm going to throw right at the beginning of when they kind of cut to show Dr. Richard Benjamin Vannicut. The scenery, like cutting into somebody's abdomen, it looked pretty good. I think they did a pretty decent job with that.
the effects in this movie, or when it comes to that sort of stuff, are pretty good. Yeah, I'll
Yes.
agree with you.
And then Lisa Loeb, who was the Channel 3 reporter. I did not know that was Lisa Loeb, but she looks just like Lisa Loeb. I did not.
You was like, man, that reporter, that actor really looks like Lisa Loeb. Is that what you were thinking when you watched this?
Yes. And I didn't care to even look. And then James Masters, who I recognized, but did not think of Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He looked like Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but without the vampire look. He just looked like he didn't have any makeup on.
Yeah, I mean, he does in general, just because that character. I don't know. Like, I don't know how he's going to get away from that character, to be honest with you, because I mean, that character, when you think of Spike, that's his face, basically. So
pretty much, he played the cameraman, and they were literally on camera for 5 to 10 minutes. Very small scene, but definitely a worthy scene to kind of bring into Vincent Price Jr. and what he's capable of. A little extra, but whatever. Okay, it's a film. So synopsis is, this is based off of what Reverend has given us. Thrill Park Module and billionaire Stephen Price. Shut up. I say what I say, how I say it, okay? You're not the boss of me, Reverend.
Okay.
I'm also sick, so how I pronounce things is...
That's excuse. I'm fine with that. That's fine.
It's affected by my cold. I really don't know how to say that, actually. You should have corrected me, so thank you. Mogul? Is that how you really pronounce it? I sound like Jessica Simpson right now. Is it chicken or is it fish?
It's like that line in what is it, Black Sheep, where they keep saying roads because they can't say roads because they're so high.
Roads? Oh my, that's exactly what I would do. Oh my God, I hate myself right now. Stephen Price, aka Vincent Price Jr., is asked to throw a party for his wife after she sees a gruesome story about an abandoned mental asylum on Unsolved Mysteries type program, which was, what was it called?
I don't even remember now.
It was so cheesy. It even looked worse because this is 1999, but the show she was watching looked like it was from like the early 1980s. It had horrible like effects and everything.
It was a good throwback to how some of that shit looked back in the day.
True. So yeah, she's watching from her little bathtub, and he was not asked to throw her a party. He was told to throw her a party here. There's a huge difference there. She was the one who thought she was large and in charge, or whatever. The people she wants.
Should say.
Wait, go what?
They are there next. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yes. The people she wants to invite and ignored, shredded by. I guess she had a list, and the list was shredded by Vincent Price Jr. And then his list of 5 people, we'll say, was mysteriously wiped and replaced, which was never fully explained. I mean, yes, you can guesstimate that the house did it, but I want to know, my whole mystery of this situation was, who was the 5 people he put? And why did the list go from like hundreds of people to only 5 people? Oh, maybe they were just actors that were. I just answered my own question.
It's in the trivia, but that goes back to that, the director's, previous history. Some of those characters were like names of characters in his previous like work, or like he had came up like with like there's one of them that's like a doctor or something like that had a different name, and it was actually a character from a Tales from the Crypt episode he did, or something to that effect. So they're all kind of like throwbacks to characters he had done in the past.
Okay, and he was inviting those people because I'm guessing because they were actors and they were going to be able to scare the shit out of his wife and or help him kill her accidentally.
Yes.
Who knows? Because in this film we know the main thing is that the husband and wife absolutely loathe each other and want to kill each other somehow, some way. So
completely.
So the list is wiped. We see an actual list kind of get erased and be retyped. Let me see.
Which is one of my few annoyances with this movie. I mean, it's kind of like we talked about it with Oculus, but like the power, you need to set boundaries on like what the house can and can't do. And it's funny because at the end of the movie, like, I mean, just jumping ahead to that, like when the 2 main characters are like locked out on like the upper stories of the building, with no obvious way of escape, it's just because the windows are closed. Now they can't, the spirits can't get out of the building, but they can somehow go through the internet, like that fucking sucks. I'm just sorry. I'm just throwing that out there, but
Yeah.
it does.
I agree with that. And I think that particular scene would have been like if he had done his own research on the house and kind of just invited these people just, I don't know, just because he didn't realize like, oh, hey, these people are related, blah, blah, blah. That would have made a little bit more sense to kind of get them to this house, invite them for some money, because they would have been just as money hungry. They would have been just regular people. According to his list, these people were, and that, I guess that's what happened, is these people were down on their luck and they were money hungry. But we only get that from a synopsis of the film. We don't get that from the character telling, really. You know that there's something going on, but they really do not do a lot of character building in the film at all. It's just like,
No,
they got invited by a ghost.
The only character they kind of have built up is Nora Manning, just because of the fact that she has the backstory that it was not her that was invited. It was actually her boss. And
Yes.
she was the intern who intercepted the email and decided she was going to get rich, and so she had a motivation.
Yes.
Whereas the rest of them really didn't have that, because, I mean, Bruce Wilson's character was already kind of like, Instagram famous before Instagram was a thing. She was one of those types. And then, Taye Diggs' character was a former pro athlete. So, I mean, like, even though he might have been down on his luck too, money-wise, it's not really emphasized why he was in search of the money. And it kind of goes from there. So.
Yeah, it didn't build too much. This group was given the task of surviving the night with a reward of $1 million each, offered up in exchange. I did not read that right. The group is given the task of surviving the night with the award of $1 million each, offered up in exchange. They are also allowed to take each other's money if the others do not survive. Like, it's divvied up among them, which doesn't make sense because they're checks technically. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to cash $1 million check and split it with another winner. Not going to happen. I will kill you first.
And maybe that was the point.
Yeah, that's true. And he did specify. He said, hey, if you survive, and that didn't really add any suspense to them. They were like, what do you mean if we survive? Like, this, you sound stupid.
Yeah, we're not going to kill each other. This is fucking stupid.
You're talking crazy talk. Can we just take our check and go? The guests are the target of the building's former inmates and psychotic staff, and eventually all but 2 people are left alive. The rest consumed and trapped within the walls of the building. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cue suspenseful music. So how do we want to approach this? I like talking about our favorite scenes, though I don't have a lot of them. The things that stand out, clearly the beginning when we get introduced to Vincent Price Jr., who looks like Vincent Price, talks like him, has a similar persona in a sense, maybe not as smooth and charismatic.
I really like that scene with the camera, the people from Channel 3 or whatever, and it also is interesting too, because that scene, that's in the trivia, but that scene was filmed on the Incredible Hulk at Universal Orlando, and I've seen that ride like in person. And so as soon as I saw it, like I was like, I know exactly where they're filming this at, and it was just kind of interesting to see that part of it. But it was a good start to the movie, like you're saying. It was like,
is that elevator legit? Is that like an actual part of the ride?
No, they added that part of it, but I mean, the part where they're, they actually strap in and they're, it shoots them up through the tunnel and all that. That's the actual beginning of the ride. That's why and the colors are all still the same. So, but I like it as an intro because it sets up 2 things about the movie. It sets up the fact that he's very theatrical. So he could set up, all the stuff that's going on in the movie, so he's known for these type of shenanigans to begin with. And it also shows that he's not of like using his ability to scare people, for his own purposes.
Oh, shamelessly.
So I mean, it kind of gives him a little insight in his character at the same time establishing his credibility to be able to pull off any of the stuff that might go on later.
Yes. Pretty cool scenery. Pretty cool how the elevator, they really thought that they were falling. You had the visual of the elevator falling, which we find out is just a TV basically that makes it look like they're falling. They were actually going up at the time because that's where the ride starts. And he has that nice little, it was a perfect scene where he gets out and he's got this, the character in his face. He's got a lot going on. He's very animated when he says, "Up here is where it gets real scary," and then the ride just shoots past him right behind him, and it was really good. I thought that was really well done.
Which, a little bit of trivia about that too. They said that in reality, if that roller coaster, as close as he was, actually went off right next to him like that, it would have completely blew him off of the rails, like the force of it would have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting about that. But I like one more thing about that I like too, that it set up about him, is the fact it sets up that he is as a character, he is an actor, because he was acting like he was going to die the entire time, and that kind of sets up with the way he is later on.
Okay, hold on. I'll address on that a little bit later. Okay, so we set up that scene. Then we have the scene where she kind of sets up where she's watching the unsolved mysteries. We talked about that very briefly. I like that it was short and sweet and kind of gave an idea of how we were going to end up at this house.
Yes, and it also establishes, Famke Janssen being, yet again, a sex pot in this movie. I mean, she's being seductive, and there's nobody in the room. I mean, that's literally what this scene sets up. I mean, she's putting out those vibes, and there's no reason to, but she is. So there you go.
Yes. She's literally just taking a bath. She's completely covered up to her chin, and she's not even doing anything but talking on a phone, and the Reverend's over here getting hot. Just so we know. Okay, and then we see him basically going through, making the list. The list gets deleted, blah, blah, blah. We've addressed this already. Shall we just get to the folks being at the house, or was there anything in between specifically? Because there really is not much going on.
The one thing in between is the fact that they picked probably the best song of that time period to put behind the casket, and the hearse and driving up. I mean, Marilyn Manson's, I believe it's Sweet Dreams. Wasn't that the one that they put in the movie? I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, perfect choice of a song. I mean, if you're going to pick one. And funny, this is a little bit of trivia. Marilyn Manson almost was Benjamin Vannecut.
Oh, that would have been pretty cool.
He was almost the surgeon. Yeah.
That actually would have been pretty cool. Sad that we found out that as strange and unusual as he was in his music career, he actually ended up being strange and unusual in real life. I never saw that coming. I always thought he was a clean cut, good old American boy, but
yeah,
he was not who we thought he was.
He really put that image out.
The song, yes, it was a good song. We see them driving through spooky dark hills. No idea why that hearse was there. It was just there for effect, literally, because there was nothing in there that we know of. It was never explained.
Well, they set up in the movie that, Famke Janssen's character is really into that, the spooky, macabre stuff or whatever. And of course, Price, already established that he's, Vincent Price Jr. has already established that he's, not above using that sort of thing. So it's a lot of that is kind of the reason it's there. Also, as a throwback to the old movie, of course, but I don't know. I think that music used in this movie is perfect for what it ends up being, which, we'll discuss later. But to me, it's more of like a campy MTV of that era-esque type, vibe that it had going on, like a Marilyn Manson video. And it's perfect that they were playing that music during that part of the movie.
Yeah. And the only thing about that song is that it's been used so many times now in so many different films.
That's true, but I don't think it was used as well as it was this one scene. Yeah.
I'll give you that. I will also say, too, because this popped into my head, the hearse driving around, I was thinking that perhaps maybe it was carrying the casket that had the party favors in it, because we do see a casket in the house later on in the film that had party favors in it.
That's
but
true. Then
I'm like, nobody could drive to the front of the house. They had to walk. So how would that have gotten in? Again, not explained, but that's the theory that I came up with.
Caretakers might have done it because they were still there at the time, but it's not shown, so we'll never know.
It's never explained why they can't drive up the rest of the way. There's things that happen. Once they're in the house, they kind of get a brief explanation of what's going on, what's expected of them. Mm-hmm. No one's really taking it seriously. I really hated the scene actually right before they walk into the house, where everyone just starts laying their questions and no one's getting to the house. It's like, hey, we're going to answer these questions when we get to the house. You've already come this far. What are you going to do? Turn around now? There's $1 million at stake. It's on your invitation that you looked at the entire time Sweet Dreams was playing.
I think they were kind of hinting at, like, once they actually saw the place they were staying, they, kind of put a little bit of fear into them that, it made it a little bit more real. But like, it's not that well established in the movie that way that it comes across that way.
I do like how, because this used to be an insane asylum, how they have the lights that kind of search the grounds. And so when they come up to the house, when they're walking up to the house, that literally starts happening. I personally thought that was a cool effect.
I never paid attention, to be perfectly honest with you, but I mean,
I wasn't looking for that. It's just something I noticed this particular round.
Yeah.
Watching it. So they're discussing the terms of the party. Chris Kattan's character, who is getting really antsy in the pants and wants to get paid and wants to get the fuck out. And no one, not one single person seems to care why he's so concerned. No one gives a shit. No one even, like, because if it was me and I didn't give a shit, I'd be like, hey, give him his money so he can go. Can we get this party started?
That's true. I mean, and that's right after the scene where the glass breaks and almost takes out Famke Janssen's character, right?
Yes.
I mean,
which I see in the trivia, she did that stunt herself.
And it came very close to her face.
Yes, which is, I mean, it was very well done in the scene. I mean, she even gets like a little tiny shard like on her face and everything, which, obviously it's makeup effects and stuff. It was just light enough to be like, yes, a piece of glass grazed her, but noticeable enough to be like, a makeup effect. It didn't look fake. It looked really good. And then there's that huge shard that almost got her. And holy shit, how fucking scary.
To be her in that scene and have to act against that, for sure.
And she wanted to do it, so get it.
And that's in the trivia, that it was such force that thing hit the way they framed it, that her head actually bounces off of the table.
Yeah.
And it's still in the movie. You can actually see that part of it.
Okay, so wait. So she performed her own stunt. She was there, but it was Taye Diggs that had kind of tried to shield her. So was he also gluing her to the table? Was he stunting or...
I don't know if it was him or a stunt person on his part of it, because he didn't specify that he actually was involved with that part of it.
Okay. So that makes sense. So moving on, what other details can you recall? Because the next few details that comes to me, I don't want to get into like major detail, but a lot of Scooby-Dooing happens in this house. The house gets locked up. 2 out of the 5 decide they want to try to figure out how to unlock it.
Yeah. And the one thing that stands out for me in this little bit about this is when they go down into the actual basement part of it, and then there's that creepy cabinet section as they come down, like the display cases, and it looks like something out of like Halloween Horror Nights or something.
It really did.
It looked like you were walking to a haunted house or whatever, like a theme park, and that's what stood out to me whenever they went downstairs. And of course, there's big long sections of the movie that are like this, but they do that thing in this, which is a little bit more forgivable than the whole thing we talked about with Deep House, but it's still a little bit of a pet peeve where there's no apparent geography of the building that they're in. It's like they randomly go through places and they get lost, and like it's never established, this is connected to that, it's connected to that. Like you never know where they're at. I mean, it might be intentional, but it's just kind of an annoyance. It's like these people, I mean, are literally just, like being lost in a maze at this point.
Yeah, there's only like 3 or 4 places I can think of in the house. There is Famke's room. There is a hallway that leads to the main area that they're in, eating, drinking, and freaking out. And then the basement. Oh, well, and the attic, because the attic comes into play later on in the film.
The attic, and then there's the room that's sealed off in the basement, because that's the big sticking point when
horribly
the darkness
sealed
comes out
off.
Or whatever.
Very horribly. It's not even quite sealed off, because they walk in, they're like, what is that?
And he throws her into it and it falls apart. I mean, which goes along with our whole argument about the typing, like the spirits being able to race, or the house or whatever, racing the message, because they were being held by barely patched together concrete.
Yes.
But yet they can get the internet, whatever.
We won't address that. So we find out during the Scooby-Dooing and the investigating around this house that there's indeed some kind of background, I don't know, theatrics going on, because Vincent Price Jr. does have somebody that's there that is operating certain things that were put into the house to give it the effect that it's haunted, or that there's something going on. It's very short-lived. I mean, he literally just one time gets, I don't know, some wall to kind of crumble and scare the shit out of a few of the characters. And jumping ahead a little bit, later on when he goes to check on him, because he finds out, hey, this guy didn't actually lock up the house. He thought that this had to do with this guy that's kind of behind the scenes directing what's going on. Finds out that the guy did not lock up the house. So when Vincent Price Jr. kind of tries to figure it out, when he returns, we see this guy's face completely scooped out. Cleanly scooped out. It was one of my favorite effects in the film.
I was getting ready to say it's the best effect in the movie.
Yes.
Like literally, like the way they filmed it. And it's funny because this character that you're talking about, the one that's watching on the cameras, is the same character that David Cross plays in the movie, in Scary Movie 2. It's the same exact character that he's playing, you know, the one that's watching everything from like the basement area or whatever. Yeah, it's that's the character he was.
Oh my God. I didn't even think I that did cross my mind, but I wasn't thinking about Scary Movie. I'm just like, this is familiar. You kind of got this going on. The only thing I am upset about this character that they didn't kind of show is they really didn't quite show anything. They show spooky stuff on the camera afterwards, literally right after, as he realized, oh my God, this guy's face has been scooped out. Yes, we see something, but like that character never got to witness anything spooky on the camera, and he's the one running shit. That would have been cool.
Yeah, he never saw anything, but I do have to give credit because this is during the Scooby-Doo you're talking about, when Brigitte Willis' character's going around with her camera trying to be, you know, ghost facers or whatever. Ghost facers. She's filming it. I do like the effect that every time that she can see the ghost like through the camera lens, like whenever she's going through there. I do like that part of it, and the way that I'll give them credit for this, the effect that they had with Jeffrey Combs and the way that he moved, but like in clips, you know, like it was like you're missing frames of the movie. Whenever he moves, it's like really jilted. I really like that effect. It kind of made it really creepy that way.
They did it pretty good in this film. It was so good. I actually thought my internet was glitching a little bit when I was streaming it. But then I came to the realization, okay, no, the music has been smooth the entire time. So it's not, this is just how it is. I mean, because right at the beginning, they had a lot of that too.
They had a little bit. It wasn't. It was more like jump cuts, like you would expect from like a music video from the MTV era. That's why I said this movie kind of gives me that vibe, because like the editing of it, like the action especially, it's like quick cuts. You know, there's nothing that really lingers. It's like when you cut to a scene, you have to dramatically cut from it and go to and swing to another one real quick.
For you youngins out there wondering about MTV, we're talking about an era back when MTV stood for music television, and they actually had music videos that they would play.
Think of it as TikTok, but a little bit longer.
Yes. Something to, you wouldn't be able to keep your attention for very long with it. So don't think about that. Just think about other shit. So we got our Scooby-Dooing going on. We've got actual murders happening. We have lost sexting bitch face. We have lost our producer, our behind-the-scenes producer, who didn't see shit and then literally saw some shit. I wonder what he saw right before his entire face was scooped out.
I'm sure that in my mind, it's he saw Vannicut like walking up to him like in a disjointed way, and like he just had his face scooped out at that point. So. He probably saw him on the monitor like seconds before he popped up in front of him or something. Yes.
We do get a spooky scene where Taye Diggs and Allie Larder are walking around. She gets kind of spoofed by a ghost. Not spooked. Well, she does get spooked. She gets spooked and spoofed by a ghost who convinces her he kind of does, takes the face of Taye Diggs and is walking around, and so she's following him. She's getting pissed at this point, and makes her go to he convinces her that he jumped into ooze. Yes, it looked like blood. It was blood, actually.
Well, blood or whatever it was.
It was nasty.
Yeah,
a vat of material, And she almost dies in this because she realizes, oh my God, it's not him when he's looking up at her and he goes, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, bro, I just saw you jump into this vat. What the fuck what are you doing over there? I thought you were in here and I was trying to save you. She thinks, which I'm sorry, Reverend, but if you jump into a vat of glue, I'm gone. I am gone. I am not trying to save you. I saw you willingly jump in there. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Either that was not you or you are not yourself.
Well, and it makes me think too, like we talked about Oculus and just this comparison, they had the same effect where you would see people who were not the people you were speaking to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, and she really went to try to save him though.
Yeah.
You had to have it. I mean, she got her good scare. And look it was because of the scare she got even sexier after. So she had to go get herself a clean set of clothes.
If I remember right, like, and this is in I think this is a bit of trivia too. She loses her jacket at that point. Like, it mysteriously reappears later in the movie because they had to do this. They did this weird edit, and like it was in there and it was out and then it was back in. But I think the fact is where she lost her jacket and she kind of gets a little bit. That kind of adds to the disheveled, sexy look you're talking about. That kind of, like, as she goes along.
It looks like she actually lost some makeup, so she's a little bit more clean faced. Her hair's tousled a little bit. She's in like somehow tighter clothing, but it's more casual clothing and not so sexy. And she still looks sexier. So, LLareyna, man, you were rocking it, girl. The more scared she got in this film, the more she was fucked around with, the hotter she got.